Okay, YouTube, we're going to continue on with the little series I've been doing about kit and gear. Oh, by the way, this is Mr. Bass. Say hi, Mr. Bass. Okay, away from me. Um, when you think about kit and you think about gear, and anyone who does prep, excuse me, we all have our own ideas. We all have our own opinions on what works, what's the best piece of gear, what you need to have, what you don't need to have. And before I go any further, I just want to toss in this little note that if it works for you, then it's right for you. Simple as that. If you don't need anything but two sticks to make fire, great. But me, I'm a I'm a creature of habit. I like redundancy. So even though I have the skill sets, I still like to have gear, and I like to have multiple pieces of the same gear. It's just peace of mind. So anyway, moving on. If you're out in the woods or wherever you may be, again, if you've had to leave your residence, especially if you're not some hardened guy who's going to sleep on the ground covered up with a pile of leaves or something, you're going to want some form of shelter. And of course, they run the gamut from you being able to make a primitive lean-to style shelter to tents to tarps to bivy sacks to whatever works for you. A hammock, doesn't matter. As long as you have something, keep yourself warm, keep yourself dry. I like this. It's made by a company called Black Diamond. This is their Beta Light 2-person TP style tarp. Covers, I don't know, 35, 40 square feet or so. I can't remember exactly. You can hang it from trees. You can stake it out on the ground. It goes up with trekking poles or sticks. Doesn't come with any kind of poles. You have to, use your imagination. Weighs a little over, I think maybe between 1 and 2 pounds. I don't remember exactly. I use it with a simple basic hammock that I bought off online. Single nest, nothing fancy, doesn't weigh anything, doesn't take up any space. I'd rather sleep in the hammock than sleep on the ground. So I'll carry it. If you want to sleep on the ground, that's up to you. Sleeping pads. Now, in a hammock, I don't absolutely have to have this, especially not in warmer conditions. In the wintertime, I want this self-inflator, and I want it inside my hammock because I don't want frozen butt syndrome. If you ever slept in a hammock in the winter or in cool conditions, you know how quick you can get cold on the rear. So I like my self-inflator. It does not go in the summertime, and since I'm changing kit out for spring and summer, I'm just going to show you the stuff as I go through it. Okay. Emergency survival blanket. Blaze orange in case you need to signal for help on one side, and it has the Mylar material on the inside. I like to tie it underneath the hammock. It reflects body heat back to me. Helps keep me warm. Also, if I put it up on the outside, it provides me with an extra layer of protection. This one is a cheaper one. It's already got a little bit of damage to it, but it'll do what I need it to do, and it's easy enough to replace if I have to replace it. Trash bags. That one's 55 gallon. You can see I'm almost 6 foot tall, and it covers me up 2/3 of the way. If I had to sleep in it and it was all I had, easily to do. It's also big enough and wide enough you can make a poncho or an anorak out of it if you have to. Put your bedroll in it, use it for a pack cover, use it for a backpack liner. As long as you got an imagination, some duct tape and some trash bags, you can do about whatever. Okay, so moving on. This is really, I don't do clothing. I won't even be discussing clothing really because there's too many variables. But I will talk about ponchos. This one here is a Swedish military surplus. It snaps up in the front, has a hood, mainly because it can be backup shelter. It can also be your rain gear. it can even be improvised to make a simple bivy sack if worse comes to worse. So I'm a poncho over a jacket and pants kind of guy when it comes to rain gear. Now, even though I'm in a hammock and underneath a tarp, I like to have a bivy sack, especially in any conditions really. Summer or winter, this piece of kit goes everywhere with me. Inside it, I keep a regular military style poncho liner and my sleeping bag. This is the black bag from the military modular sleep system. I'm getting ready to change it out and put the green bag in it because the worst of the winter weather, hopefully as far as temps, is over in my neck of the woods. And I'll be moving pretty soon, so I won't really need a bag for sub-zero temps. But anyway, bivy sack, even if you have to sleep on the ground, you want to stay warm, you want to stay dry. This won't necessarily keep you so warm, it will keep you dry. It is Gore-Tex. So, that covers. Let's go to water storage. Now I have, when it comes to water, probably more stuff than I need, but that's okay because it doesn't all go in my bag. This is some car kit gear too. I'm just showing you. My Camelback 1.5 liter bladder. I love this thing. I've had it forever. Take care of it. It'll take care of you. This is our camp bladder or our large capacity bladder made by MSR. I see that my white cat's been all over it, but anyway, it'll hold 10 liters of water. That's a couple days worth for a couple of people easily. I don't have to trek back and forth getting it. It's made out of a canvas material seam sealed, grommeted, so you can hang it any kind of way. Straps run all the way around it. Here's an item that I don't think I've ever seen it in a bag. These are 17-inch super heavy-duty zip ties. If you can't figure out a use for them, then I can't help you. They have too many uses. Also have 2 bottle filters. The one I've already shown you, this is my Sawyer one. Little difference in size. They both hold about the same amount. Also carry a Sawyer Mini. Also have a life straw, and in my canteen and cook kit I have an Aquamira straw filter as well as Aquamira drops. So one way or the other I'm getting clean water regardless of where it comes from. I believe a person should have multiple ways of light. I don't like flashlights, they take up your hands. So I carry 2 headlamps. Then, don't have to carry batteries because, like I said, I can charge them. Stakes for your tarp, tent, whatever. I'm not going to take all this out. It's just my canteen cup, an alcohol stove, a few packs of survival water, a couple of packs of coffee, some electrolyte powders. Just basic, fundamental canteen cook kit. Nothing that's anything other out of the ordinary. Simple, basic military issue GI cup with canteen. Like I said, backups for backups, and then back up that. This is a product called Ready Bath. If you work in the medical field, you've probably seen them. After a few days in the woods, Mother Nature takes her toll. This will help you keep the important areas clean and sanitary. You get 8 to a pack, less than $2 for a pack, and even once they're opened, without being sealed up in a Ziploc or something, they'll stay moist for 2, maybe even 3 days, depending on what climate you're in. They require no water, no soap. They're already ready to roll right out of the bag. Now, when it comes to repair kits, my multi-tool is, I'm not even sure exactly where I've got it stashed, but you want to have a multi-tool, you want to have some tape, you want to have, which one of these? This is fabric repair tape for garments, etc., etc. If you tear a hole in a jacket or something, it's, no, I can't even tell you. I can't hardly see who it's made by, but anyway, you just Google fabric repair tape and this stuff will show up. I think 5 yards per roll. It's kind of spendy, but it works well. In here is also my fishing kit. I'm not going to break all that stuff out because, you know, most people know what fishing gear looks like. Paracord, bank line. Again, you can figure that out for yourself. This is the cheapy plastic toss away little painter's tarp. Something to put on the floor. You just never know when you might need it. Something that, like I said, it's something I carry backup for a backup. I may need it for something. So, and for something that's no bigger than a softball really and doesn't weigh probably 4 ounces. It ain't hurt me anything to carry it. Now let's talk about what carries everything that you're going to carry. And it's the most one of the most important pieces of the kit gear I think you can have, because if what you're carrying your gear in, if it's not comfortable and it doesn't fit you, it doesn't matter if you got a 20-pound load or an 80-pound load, it's not going to be pleasant. And of course there's the G.I. Joe types out there who will, I can carry whatever, blah blah, don't really matter to me. This is the Marine Corps Gen 2 ILBE backpack. It costs a few dollars. It's not the cheapest thing on the market, but it carries, well, all my gear that I put in here weighs about 56 pounds or so, and it carries that with ease. It has